Today's project is going to be to remove that big square mirror from inside that channeled drywall setting. So the big square mirror is flush against drywall and there's no way to pry it out without tearing the thing apart. So instead of just smashing it, I'm removing it by taking all of these pieces off. Now one by one, you just take a razor blade and you scratch, you sever all the caulk. There's a lot of caulk in there. You have to remove all, you have to slice down here on the bottom. Slice it there, slice it up on the top and right here. And of course right here you want to go down the middle, and you just keep on scoring all of the caulk or adhesive or sealant. And then all I did is I went in a corner with one of these wedges, you can use anything to get in there, and I just keep on hammering and hammering and hammering until I get down behind it. Then you score off, then you pry off the bottom, and one by one they all come apart. The difficult one is going to be the long one that spans all across the base of the basin. It looks like it might help support the mirror. Now you can see here maybe that is only about half, not even half of the thickness of the material. So the mirror, the adhesive behind it is resting on this piece, which is also as thick as this. So I've got all the pieces loose on the side. I've got that long piece scored all along the bottom. I've gone underneath here. So I've gone underneath and I've disconnected the little trap. Okay, so here's the trap. And the trap hooks up there. So you remove that trap. I turned off the water supply. I've got valves back there so I can turn off the water supply. I may or may not need to remove the lines for more access underneath here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up and put a board underneath it. I'm going to lift up the countertop and put a board under it. And that should keep it secure enough for me to start hammering a wedge behind it. Okay, let's see where we are. Right there. So we'll take this extra weight off of here. You can see that there is a little bit of damage. You can see the exposed corner bead there, and you can see that tape and mud are knocked off of that. That's okay, we're going to put in a new sink and new backsplash anyway. So we'll finish removing all these. And remove a little more weight. Now, another thing that I found helpful is when I'm placing this here to pry it away. And you can also use a putty knife if you have one and start to pry it away from another direction. So I come in here and then I start there and I go all the way down to the bottom. And we do the same thing over here. I scored all along that whole edge so that I could break the seal from the sealant, and to verify that it's all cleaned off, I go underneath here with this. Then over here, that's all free. That's all free. Ideally, I am going to be able to remove that piece without the mirror, without having a problem with the mirror. The mirror is secured with adhesive behind there, or at least it should be. So again, right now at this point, the sink, I can just lift up on the sink right now. I'll have to get the board. This is also a nice way to break the seal back there. So this board is freestanding right now. I have it pulled away. I'll take this, put it under there, and now I've got that secured and out of the way. So now the next thing to do is to crawl under here, under the sink, and from the sink, from underneath the sink, I'm going to drive this or something from the back straight up. I haven't found that tool yet. I should have done that before I started. So I'm going to tackle that and turn this off temporarily. Okay, now you might be able to see, not quite yet, I made an adjustment here. I want to have this mirror secured a little bit at least. So I put up a couple of extension poles. These are extension poles for a broom. And I got them crossed in front of the mirror just in case it starts to tip. I'm going to take a look behind here. Now, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's something dark back there. And what's dark back there is, oh, this is very poor lighting, I'm sorry. So anyway, back there I've already got the, geez, what is it? The big putty knife. So we'll go under here and see if I can find it. Okay, right there is the red and black handle. I've got that going straight up behind the sink and in back of the last piece that we're removing that's directly under the mirror. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to leave that one there, that putty knife. I'm going to leave that behind the piece, and I'm going to take another knife, so to speak, the one that I used before, and I'm going to go from one end and I'm going to work my way all the way across to the other end, prying that piece off in the meantime. Once that piece is out of there, I'm going to start putting shims behind the mirror, slowly trying to pry it away from the wall. And which is why I've got the big moving blanket here. Once I remove that piece back there, I'm going to put this moving blanket down, so if it starts to give, we're going to catch some of the glass, some of the mirror. Okay, I will get back to you in a little bit. Okay, a much easier way to remove that back piece since the sink is pulled away from the back wall, is just to take something and knock it down. I already separated it in back a little bit. There we go, it's just coming. There it is. And she's off. Oh, and heavy. Not too bad. Oh, I don't think I'm going to get that out of there easily. Without moving something first. Okay. Okay. I don't need that. We don't need that. Now we'll pull this out. And pull this out, push that back against the wall. Nice. And now we'll put the, no, that's not going to do us any good right now, because we still have to get behind there to start hammering. To start hammering that off of there. Start prying it off of there with some shims. Okay, that took next to no effort at all to drop the mirror down. And the first thing I did is I broke the seal all along the bottom with a small shim. A shim is it's a wedge. So I broke the seal with the wedge, and I could feel that this was loose behind here. And all I did is take cardboard. All I did is take some cardboard. And from the bottom, remember I had a couple of inches under there, I started feeding this cardboard up there one section at a time. And I got it right, I got it there. Then I put a second piece in there, following it up. And that's all it took to make the whole mirror pop free from the little bit of adhesive that was on it. So now I'll have to get my neighbor to help me pull that off of there. Or maybe I can do it myself. We'll see. But what's important is that I did maneuver it away from there. And the whole purpose of taking that mirror off of there is because I want to texturize the drywall behind it, paint it, and put a much smaller round mirror on here that gives it more depth and more character. Right now it's just a bunch of squares. One of the squares, inside the middle square is going to be a circular mirror. Okay, now we'll take that off of there. Okay, there we can see that the mirror has been removed. You can see rows of 3, 6, 9, 12 circles over there. That suggests there were 12 circles of adhesive. And you can see the cardboard that I stuffed behind it. in only one corner, and that was enough to pop it right off of there. And now we'll go out here and see the mirror intact. Hello, Katara. Kitty, kitty, kitty. And then we'll take a look at the back side of the mirror. And you can see, possibly, well, of course you can. Even I can see this. Okay, here it shows 4 rows of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only saw 3 rows. Oh, there's the 4th row down on the bottom. Okay, so the bottom is 1 row of 3, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. No. Okay, so there's row 1, row 2, row 3, and row 4. Okay, so all 4 are off. The whole spot is open. Now I can continue on with the next task, which is going to be spraying texture on there. And the texture is going to be very much like this. I don't know if you can see it. Trying to zoom in. I can't see it. Oh, anyway. There. So it's just a spackle. A little bit heavier than that on all the drywall. I'll get better lighting for the next phase where I do the drywall texturizing.